The last main topic for 1.4 is loot. Basically, we are still going on the generosity path, more and better loot, less waiting in activities. So if you are doing HVTs, you will not only get Lone Stars. So if I like the HVTs, I can play them, and I will have a chance to have everything. If I want to go to the Dark Zone, that will drop everything. There will still be some waiting here, waiting here and there to if I really want to optimize my farm for specific, especially gear set pieces. But overall, I can play everything. I can have everything. So that's a huge revamp in terms of loot as well.
Yeah.
Loot has always been a kind of funny animal. The beginning, they didn't give so much loot and people were upset that they didn't get anything. Then they started giving you loot just to give you loot. Like, you know, that auntie that you got that always just, you know, kind of shows up with some candy in her pocket. It's like, here, have that, baby. Here, go eat that. And they just gave you loot for like nothing. Now the loot that they gave you was mostly junk and it didn't really do anything for you. Now they're planning on giving you better loot that's more suited to your level to help you progress, which is good for solo players and people who are not really at the upper top tier, you know, build of their character. But I'm kind of curious to know about the people who have continually grinded and played the game. What are they going to get? Probably not a lot. And this feels a little bit like a kind of catch-up patch. But, you know, if it makes the majority of the community happy, it has to be a good thing, right? So, yeah. Now, the one thing that Quentin kind of stumbled a bit in the live stream with his words over was the weighted issue. And before, when we had Lone Star, a lot of that stuff was kind of weighted towards the search and destroy missions and all of that assassination mission type stuff. And Lone Star all day long. Now, certain activities won't be as heavily weighted. I'm guessing all of them will have a chance to pop up some other stuff even if you play it. But I really hope that they don't have it so that all of the gear sets and all of the weapons are just available for anything, because then it will make it really hard to find exactly what you need. And I think the idea of having each district of the map be more weighted towards certain gear sets or certain weapons is a really good idea, and I really hope that they incorporate that into this 1.4 patch. Again, we'll have to wait until Tuesday to see what they officially and actually have going on, but letting us know that this stuff is what to expect is something that I can't say it enough, really happy to hear about.
By the way, remember, because I've seen some people were asking, when's 1.4 coming? October. That's all we said. We are not committing to a date because, yeah, the release window. We also depend on the quality. We want to make sure that the quality is good. It's going to depend on the PTS, everything. We're going to put all of that on the PTS for you guys to test. So depending on the results we will get there, we might need to take some extra days or whatever. We'll see. So that's why so far we are just committing to October.
It's also depending on what's happening downstairs with the elite task force,
yes.
So we can take their feedbacks into account. But we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Exactly.
So again, the 1.4 patch is coming out in October, if you were unaware, and they plan on doing a lot of quality checks to make sure that it's just right. Some of that old Three Bears. This is too hot. This is too cold. This one has bugs in it. I think I've said this already. I don't care if it comes out in October. I don't care if it comes out in November. December is pushing it. But if they have to take another month to get it right, I don't really mind. As long as it's working right and people can't find more exploits to be even stronger and harass even more people, if everything works as it's supposed to, then I am completely fine with the wait. I just want it to work right, and I just want it fair for everybody. I know that, of course, some people are going to find exploits. They're going to find ways to cheat the system, and that's just the way that these things work. But I hope that it is considerably minimized and not as bad as it has been in the past. Now, with that, all of that being said, the PTS and the feedback of the elite agents shall change and shape the way that this 1.4 patch comes out. As I said, a lot of the heavy lifting is probably already done, and they're really just fine-tuning at this point. So we'll have to see how it turns out, and I really hope that it shifts the game into a better place, because right now, from where I sit, it's kind of unplayable and very unfun. And I want this patch to be as good as it can be. Take your time.
So those are the main pillars for 1.4 balancing. Time to kill, difficulty scaling, loot. Yeah, a lot of other things will be addressed, of course, just by fixing those issues, but they will not be the focus.
Yeah.
So for example, you can notice that there is no mention of PvP. So no, for this update, PvP is not the focus. All the changes that we are talking about in 1.4 are going to affect PvP in a good way. But don't expect new PvP features, don't expect like change of rules in terms of PvP, but for example, reducing the time to kill on NPCs will help the Dark Zone experience a lot.
Yeah.
You will not
exactly.
get one-shotted by purple NPCs when you want to do your fight in PvP. The gear rebalancing that we are going to do, the changes on
Some
the gear
bug
set,
fixes as
the
well.
skills, bug fixing.
Yeah, there's a lot of those things that aren't directly focused on PvP, but will have a big impact
Yeah.
on PvP.
But doesn't mean though, because I see some people talking about Sentry in PvP and everything, but doesn't mean we are not going to touch the current meta. I mean, there are a lot of changes, as Quentin said, that will have an impact on PvP, since as part of the changes on the gap we said between min-max and non-min-max and everything, we're going to do quite a bit of changes on gear and stats. This will also definitely have an impact on PvP, and that will therefore also be part of the rebalance. So things like Sentry and Shotgun and these kind of things, these are things that will be addressed as part of it, of course.
There will be we didn't mention it, but of course with the time to kill and the overall like gear rebalancing, there will be tweaks to weapons, to
PvP. Everybody wants to know about PvP. You ain't getting nothing. PvP's balancing is not going to be like really officially ideal world PvP balanced until, I'm going to guess, January. Now, you might be saying, Con, January is far. Yeah, January is far. But the PvP is not going to change overnight. I think that the way that this is going to work is that we get the 1.4 patch. A lot of it is tested. People play it for a while. And remember, this is October, right? So it's coming out in October. When in October, who knows? Could be the end of October. Could be Halloween. Still October. And then, people will play it for about a month. I don't think they're going to just take data from a couple of weeks and really start balancing everything. I think they're going to give it some time, let people play with things, see how everything works out. They'll give it about until November, maybe mid-November, maybe the beginning of December, and really start coming up with a patch. And then again, remember, all of that stuff has to go through Sony, go through Microsoft, has to go through the PTS or public test server, PTS, that's right. Has to go through the PTS, and people are going to play with things, and they're going to change stuff. By the time all of that stuff is done, plus remember, they're working on that DLC. I'm going to say January, just to be safe. At the earliest, December. But I'm going to say for a full weapons and gear rebalancing for PvP, I think it'll take them a little bit to kind of get all of that stuff in order. And if that's what it takes, then that's what it takes. I think PvP is the biggest problem maker, even more so than, you know, shotgunning NPCs. Shotgunning NPCs, you just get frustrated and you go, oh, you know, fuck this game. But if you talk about PvP and people just being jerks, that's a bigger problem, and I think people take that a bit more personal because you feel like you lost to somebody or you were cheated by somebody. Whereas with the game actually just being broken, you can kind of say, well, the game is broke and, you know, fix the game. You can yell at the developers to fix the game, but having players, you know, dick you in the game has a little bit more, I think, more weight to it. And I think the developers should take that very seriously when they do decide to make that switch or whatever they decide to do. But again, I don't think it'll be really ready and really out there in the wild for console players at least until probably January. Maybe late December, but I'm going to say somewhere around January.
Okay.
So yeah, again, all of that, we will go in more details on all these changes on Tuesday during the special report live stream. Like some of them are pretty big. Actually, the difficulty scaling is a very big one. It's a big redesign. So it will take some time to explain everything. And yeah, so we will do that on Tuesday. And also we want to take the time to talk to the Elite Task Force that we have here right now to get their feedback and see if there are any tweaks here and there.
Exactly.
So difficulty is the big redesign, and that is one of their main focus, getting the difficulty right. I think that's a good thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing how that turns out on the live stream. I can't really say anything about that until I actually see it, so I'll just leave it at that. Until we see it Tuesday, I don't know, but I hope it feels better than it does now for, you know, the end of the road player.
Hi everyone. We mentioned last week in the State of the Game that we will be hosting a special report for Update 1.4 tomorrow, Tuesday the 13th. We will need to delay this show as at this stage we wouldn't be able to show all of the content we would like to. While the special report format demands that we be more complete in the type of things that we show, we'll be using our weekly State of the Game to give you some more concrete solutions that will be present in Update 1.4. In other news, the PTS will not be available this Thursday as previously stated. After playing the build with our Elite Task Force, it became clear that to have the PTS process be valuable for us in terms of feedback, we would need some more time to include key elements that are critical to the overall Update 1.4 experience. Transparency is something that we know our community wants and something that we aim to deliver every day. In this instance, it does mean that we need to share our schedule and intentions that are subject to shift throughout the process. The alternative of leaving you in the dark is not something we see as an option. We're very eager to get this update out to all agents while bringing you into the development process as much as we can. And as soon as we have more information, we'll let you know. Smiley face.
So as a reminder, for those of you who don't know, PTS stands for Public Test Server. So what we announced last week was that we were going to open a public test server for the division to allow you guys to test the update before we actually release it officially. So the PTS is going to be, that's the bummer, it's only going to be available on PC for PC players, okay? We cannot, unfortunately, we cannot have it available on consoles yet because first, PC allows for more flexibility in terms of patching and updates. So doing it on PC means we can like really patch very regularly based on your feedback, which is something that would be harder on console. But that doesn't mean we're completely ignoring console. We're also looking at ways to involve console players in the PTS. So that's something we're definitely looking at. But right now, the first version of it is going to be PC only for 1.4. So yeah, what we're going to do. So dates, I said. On Thursday next week, we are going to have a technical test of the PTS. So
that's the 15th, right?
That's Thursday, September 15th.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a technical test. What that means is that we want to open the PTS to a limited amount of players to test the infrastructure and make sure the PTS works, make sure the process of downloading the client of the PTS, logging into it, getting your characters and all this kind of stuff. We want to make sure that this process actually works.
Yeah.
So for that, we are only going to open it to a limited amount of players. Who will be these players? What we're going to do is we got a lot of applications for the Elite Task Force. This was really crazy and this was amazing. So as a token of thanks for you guys, all of you guys who applied to the Elite Task Force, the players that will get access to the PTS on Thursday 15th are all the PC players that applied to the Elite Task Force last week.
Yes.
Or the week
Thank you
before that.
for engaging with such a thing.
That's a thank you to you guys.
Awesome. So yes, again, if you applied and you are on PC,
Yeah.
yes, apply to the Elite Task Force and on PC, you will be first in to the PTS.
And you didn't win. No, but that's the thing. It's like you didn't have to win. We are talking about all the people
Everyone who applied.
Everybody who submitted an application through the form that we put there and that plays on PC will be invited, no matter if you were selected to the Elite Task Force or not.
So the PTS is only for the PC, at least for the 1.4 bug fix patch version. I don't care. It is what it is, and I know that it's a pain in the ass to run all of that stuff through Sony, through Microsoft, whereas they can just put it on the PC, let you download it, and they can completely break the game, and it doesn't kill the game for people who paid the money. I don't mind that, but I hope they come up with something where you can download a demo from either the PSN or the Microsoft Store. I don't know what it's called. And maybe even just have it so that you can play a certain area of the map like they did with the beta, and then give you basically whatever they want to give you to test, and then say, okay, this week, guys, we want you to test out this. We have some ideas for such and such. Go at it. Let us know what you think in the forums. I think that would be good for console players, or even they could, just let certain consoles work on certain things, and those bits of information and analytics could go to whoever's working on what. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, or they plan to do it for the PC, let alone for the console. But I think that even if they gave console players a small portion of something to do just to test it, I think that would be awesome. And another thing that I propose, and I don't know if anybody else has proposed this, but if you play on the PTS server, if you play for an extended amount of time, and what I'm saying by extended is maybe more than 5 hours, more than 10 hours in a week, if you played for that long, you should be able to get something. I think the developer should give you something, be it a cosmetic item or not, or one of the cosmetic packs or something. Just give the player something for testing out the game. Why not? You're effectively a beta tester. Give them something so that they can kind of say, or even like a special like beta tester, not beta tester, but PTS hat for their character, or like clothes outfit or something. Like that would be cool. I mean, I don't know how, much money it takes to design some of that stuff, but can't be too hard. Just reskin or recolor something and just throw it in there. I mean, they've done that already with some of those clothes. I think it would be cool to at least be able to say, I got something for, you know, spending time beta testing this for however long. And I think it would kind of give something to the community and still let Massive get something back for the time spent that they could have been playing the game, but instead they were helping to improve it. What do you guys think? If you think that's a good idea, leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know, what do you think would be good to get? And yeah, don't forget to hit that like button.